Hey, what's up, Facebook? It's Tulsa Bass Professor. I'm coming back to you guys with another video, guys. Okay, the video we did yesterday was a video on springtime, late spring to early summer. Okay, these are the patterns that we were talking about yesterday and kind of like going through some things vaguely. We were kind of going through some things, what I'm using and what's been working for me as of late. But now I was doing some thinking, guys. I want to do a series every week. I want to do at least one or two videos to where I can kind of do a lecture, as you would say, like Tulsa Bass Professor's lectures on baits, current conditions, what to use. I mean, you name it. You guys, I'm probably going to leave it, kind of open to where you guys can comment at the end of the videos. Not the end of the videos, but the comment section of the videos of what you guys want to know about, some things that you got questions about, and we'll get into them. We'll dive into it, break those things down as well, or some things you guys just was curious about. I mean, whatever that might be, we'll go, etc. But I was doing some thinking, and we're May 31st. It's summer, basically. Currently, we still have spring conditions, heavy rains, flooding waters. Everything's out the banks pretty much, and at least in my area. But that means one thing only. I'm gonna use things that are gonna be fished around cover, guys. And what I mean about that, we got a little bit into the flipping. I was talking about the flipping yesterday, but we're gonna get more meticulous and we're gonna delve more into it in more detail, okay? For one, you guys that are flipping, a lot of guys are using braid. That's good. If you're around grass or things of that nature, that's fine. But me, I'm a floral guy. Why am I a floral guy? For one, it's still low abrasion. It's low memory, abrasion resistant, and it covers water. But I'm gonna go heavy. For you guys that's using 12, 10, 14 pound tests, or even 15 pound tests, you're too light. And I'm not saying you won't catch fish. I'm not saying that you can't pull a 5 or 6 pound bass out of the grass with it. But I'm saying you're kind of increasing your chances of losing that fish of a lifetime flipping around this time of the year. The time of the year, bass have already spawned. The shad have begin their spawn, or in some lakes are starting to come to the end of their spawn. And these fish are feeding up so they can go out there to the deeper shelves out there, or what you want to call the deep ledges out there, and they're starting to set up for the summer patterns. So what you want to do is you want to capitalize on this mixed bag of weather we've been having. You guys want to really flip. When I flip, of course, I'm going to peg my weight, 3/8 ounce. I don't always use brass, but I use brass. I'm starting to use brass now. I got a 4/aught 6 cents flipping hook, and I'm gonna throw some type of creature bait. I'm not saying what brand you got to use. I prefer, if you guys want to go with brands, go with a brand you're comfortable with, or you can check out Venom or any of the other companies out there that you really been wanting to try out. But I'm gonna go heavy too. Since I was talking about line, guys, I want you guys to understand one thing. The reason why I'm gonna go heavy with the 20 pound test, and this is fluoro, guys, I don't want mono. Mono, for one, if you're flipping around cover, it's gonna nick up. You may or may not feel it when you're bringing your bait in. You set the hook on some fish and you're like, oh, that was a 10 pound bass, when really a 12-inch fish could have broke your line because you got a nick in it. But I'm gonna go with 20. I want something heavy that can pull good fish out of there, or just pull a strong fish away from the wood, away from the rock, and away from the grass, because that's what you're gonna be fishing in these kind of conditions. Because when it rains and you get these flooding waters and a lot of moving water, bass start relating to cover. They're gonna get to the bank. You think about it, it's low visibility for them as well. They're using their lateral lines to feed at this time. So you want, a lot of people, vibration, that's great. Vibration works, but I've also found when that's not working, flipping into them places where they're hiding out in them ambush points where them bass are at has been really effective. And it's really been effective on bigger fish. Now, if you want more bites, yeah, I would throw a spinner bait. I suggest, some type of crankbait if you just want to get bit. But if you're really going for the size and it's tournament season and you want that big bag, flipping, whether it's a jig or you're pitching a pegged weight, a Texas rig, weighted Texas rig, or whatever, you want to make sure you have something on it that you can bring them out of there. Now, my personal thing that I like to get into, My rods. Let's get into the rod of this whole thing that I flip with. I have a 7.6 extra heavy though. Guys, this is an extra heavy. It's a Denali Attacks. As you can see, I like the butt kind of long on them because I like to set the hook. I like to have leverage when I set the hook. Shorter rods can do it too. You can flip and set the hook pretty good if you're up here, but a lot of us like to set the hook from here. All right, so I want a longer rod so I can make them longer casts too, or longer flips. Because you guys that are flipping, we'll get into that method, but I will dive a little bit into it. A lot of you guys may flip down here. Now, that's a little long. Even with a shorter rod, that's long. Okay, see, with a longer rod, I can put it in my proper position right here. And I can flip that bait out there 10, 15 yards, or even 20 if need be. And the reason why I do that, because I don't want all my effort to be into the cast. I want my effort to be into working that bait, feeling that bait at a longer distance. Because I want to be able to feel that bait. Because when I flip, I reel up my slack and I watch that bait go down. I keep that line tight. Because any little movement of that line, I'm setting the hook. Okay, guys? So that's what I'm doing in my flipping. And I'm using darker colors and murkier water. And I will go to blues with like blue sapphire, something like that, and clear water. Or stained water, things of that nature to get their attention, guys. So that's just something, or red, crawl, whatever you guys may like. But that's how I'm doing it. This is my flipping setup that I'm probably gonna flip the rest of the season and probably the start of next season, you know, if we decide to get another circuit before summer's over. And another thing I wanna get into it with, when it ain't flooded, okay, guys, you guys that like to fish at night in the summer, when it's starting to get warm, it's 80 degrees at night, but 95 during the day, I suggest you get you a buzz bait. All right, guys, this is a 10 kilo tackler buzz bait. I went a little bit in on this yesterday, but I'm gonna break that down as well. Okay, the reason why I'm gonna throw this buzz bait at night, for one, like I said, lateral lines, and they can hear the sound of this buzz bait going across the water, right? But I also use a heavier line on this. Now, this is a P-Line top water fluoro. Now, I'm not sponsored by either one of these line companies, guys. This is just the stuff that I see that's working. I want stuff that's gonna apply to what I'm using, all right? So that's the P-Line top water, all right? But the reason why I'm putting that 17-pound test on here is because bigger fish usually hit top waters. You guys that fish top water and fish a lot, you guys know big bass, whether it's a small buzz bait or a medium size, I say whether 3/8 ounce or a half ounce or 5/16 or whatever you're throwing, you guys know that bigger bass will come up and feed aggressively on something that's loud and obnoxious in their area. So with that said, guys, let's go over the setup. Okay. Of course, you guys using regular buzz baits, you're probably throwing a faster gear ratio reel. I'm throwing a 6-to-1, 2-1. Why am I throwing a 6-to-1 Shimano Metanium MGL? Is because I have this heavier line on here, and this buzz bait, actually the design of this buzz bait is meant to creep it slower. It's like a squilling type of buzz bait. You can crank it slower and get more bites off of it. So that's what I'm throwing at this time of year, especially when they get more sluggish too. So we're also throwing that on a Denali. It's a Denali 7-foot medium heavy. Don't go no higher than 7 foot, guys. I know a lot of you guys feel comfortable with the 7.4s, the 7.2s, or even 7.6. And you're like, well, I've caught fish off that. You can catch fish off a cane pole, guys. That's fine. But you increase your chances when you have a shorter rod with a buzz bait. And why do I say that? Because for one, when you're setting that hook, you're giving that fish time to eat it. Because when he blows up on it, it knocks a little slack in your line. So when you reel up that line and you can feel that fish, you set it. And with this being a medium heavy, like I have a parabolic bend in this thing that's pretty decent. As you can see, it's pretty stiff. But when you get towards the tip, it's got a little more play into it. So the reason why I want to flip that and throw that, not flip that, but I want to toss that on that rod is because I want to make sure I get that hook down in that fish's mouth. Not down his throat, but I want to get it deep enough to where I can hook him in the roof of the mouth, side of the mouth, or even the bottom of his lip. I want to make sure he eats that thing before I set the hook, guys. So you guys using longer rods, hey, if it's working for you, keep going with it. But this is just a suggestion. And like I said, we're starting this series up. I'm gonna try to do the best I can to help you guys. I will be putting a lot of videos on YouTube similar, but they will be in a different format because I want to make a video to where you guys can sit down, break down the information, find out your likes, dislikes about it. Let me know, put it all in the comment section. And with that being said, guys, Tight Lines is TBP. I hope you enjoy the group, guys, and you guys are posting. I'm loving it. Keep supporting the channel. And with that said, man, I'm out of here.